Hi, everybody. Earl Flamata here again with another episode of the Cryptopolitan podcast. And today's guest is Stefan. Stefan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. A little bit tired. It's evening here in Europe, but other than that, I feel really excited about the beginning of the year. It's been amazing for the Web 3.0 industry, for AI, for tech in general. It's an amazing year. I feel like it's a dot-com bubble nowadays, to be honest.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old days for sure. Absolutely. So it's interesting seeing the maturity of the market, right? Like I mean, just a handful of years ago, everything was just meme and useless and not really there, and then now there's actually real utility behind things. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, a few years back, when just before ChatGPT, we had like a few 1.5 years basically after the Corona, when everything was sort of like people were getting fired. There was not much direction. There was not much movement. People weren't like there wasn't like a pillar that people would look like. Oh, I'm looking to get here. I'm looking to do that. And in technology, you always had something. You either had you had the dot-com bubble, then you had the rise of SaaS, software as a
Yes.
service. Then you had the crypto rise. Then you had other things. And I
Hmm.
think the past maybe 2 years we haven't had we had AI, but it was an AI basically like a child AI, and
Yes,
throughout the last year we saw a lot of actual use of AI, actually use of AI in all sorts of industries, and
for sure.
this podcast is about crypto, so I saw a lot of like new crypto bots and stuff, things that you wouldn't even imagine like 3 years ago. So I'm
Yeah, for
really
sure.
because the kid that because there used to be VR was also an interesting concept that was
Yes,
very interesting for me. And at the end of the day, VR didn't make it, right. It didn't grow up, and it was a very nasty, interesting teenager, but it didn't grow up into this like genius, well, entrepreneur, right. And in terms of that, I think AI has already overpassed VR in terms of technology and
Mhm.
how it's going to influence the future. So I'm super excited about all things
That makes
AI.
sense. So I mean, you're I guess a fractional CMO is kind of what your job is, what you do, right? Why
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
you tell us about kind of what do you see happening in the market? You know, what kind of trends are happening from like the marketing and end of the discussion, that sort of thing. Give us some of your insight.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of companies embrace the AI bandwagon. I'm seeing a lot of businesses being disrupted. In particular, for example, you have conversational AI. Before, you had just chats, and you had
Hmm.
so let's say we talk about customer support. Before, you had to call someone and just wait. Ding, 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 and there was nobody there on the other line. Now you have AI where you can talk to a
Answer
robot,
the
but
phone.
you're getting
Yeah.
into
It
engagement,
it's
right?
creepy now, man. Like, so I actually have an AI voice machine. And what we did was we programmed it. Whenever the customer says too much stuff, we make keyboard sound in the background because it sounds like it's taking notes. And then to have it sound more realistic, we actually injected call center noise in the background. And now it's if you didn't know it was an AI, you'd have no clue. It's almost creepy at this point, and it has vocal inflections. The voice goes up, the voice goes down. It's really neat now. So I admire what you said. I appreciate it, and I believe it because I'm building it myself too. So
Yeah, you have even AI characters nowadays. Like I know, for example, there is a company called Neopal or Neo People, and
mhm.
has a virtual CEO. Well, it or them, they have a CEO who's an AI character, and
Right.
it generates content on LinkedIn. It generates content on YouTube, and it's just very interesting how this whole thing have the persona built from zero. So I'm seeing a lot of very interesting use for AI, and I think the businesses who will not be able, or in particular people who will not be able to code with AI in particular. Like for example,
Right.
use Copilot or use ChatGPT to code, or for example, I'm personally I'm using Claude a lot to
Yes.
do like some mini applications, or some like mini software for the tasks that I need.
For
someone
sure.
who's going to be able to do that in the future will lose their job for sure, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And then I've been using make.com to start kind of bridging the gap between the different all the different little bits and pieces. So make is pretty cool. Um, this afternoon I'm going to be actually shooting my own virtual avatar, so I'm scared. So we'll see how that pans
Oh,
out. So I don't know if you've seen the latest versions of HeyGen, but the first version, absolutely terrible. Like
yes.
it looked like a
Yeah.
robot, it looked like an
Yeah.
AI, it looked like fake. Da, 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 da. The last version of HeyGen, it made a person, and I'm like, that's crazy. So I want to see what that looks like now. So I'm going to be shooting an avatar this afternoon. And in fact, in about an hour, I'll be doing that. So I'm terrified. So we'll see how this pans out. Hey. So so what are you excited about? What are you excited about coming down the pipe in the market as a fractional CMO? You see a lot of different projects, you work on a lot of different projects. What's exciting for you?
I'm seeing, for example, in gaming, right? So I have a girlfriend and she has two kids, two who are like teenagers, and one of them is saying, "Hey, it's super." They have these gaming parties where you have mostly boys playing, and you have one or two girls playing. And
Mm,
there is this new, for example, there is this new company which creates a voice changer, and there are
mm,
guys who basically say, "Okay, I'll play a girl, and I'll have
yeah.
a girl's voice and wherever, and you guys pay me, I don't know, $5 or $10 so I can join with you." So it's these are tricksters, of course, but it's very interesting how how
How the
in
world
the
has
virtual
changed.
world you can be anyone basically. Like
Well, yeah.
people
I
can
think
pay you
there's
money.
a really old quote on the internet. No one knows that you're a hamster that can type, right? So
Yeah, it's I'm super excited about that. I saw a lot of if we talk about crypto, I saw Trump's token being launched. Like he had it on Saturday or Sunday. He had
okay.
a he had an ICO actually, and
Mm,
he didn't announce it. Nothing like that came out, and he got some crazy capitalization. And then his wife, Melania Trump, also launched a crypto token, and that one also got some crazy capitalization. They didn't have any official launch, and I mean, they didn't prepare in the
right.
usual way of thinking, doing an airdrop, creating all this list of people who will wait for it to come. They just launched and then they got it right away. And it just reminds me of how important is like how important is to have a brand nowadays. Because I'm
Yeah.
seeing that companies, even if you use AI, you will not be able to give that feeling of a brand if you don't have the character or the charisma. Even AI won't be able to do that. So
Because it's based off of a foundational element, right? So if the foundational element is boring, it's going to be boring times AI, right? It's still going to be boring, right? So you have to have a foundational element of it, right? That's always an interesting piece.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
something I found out that was weird just yesterday was that you know how you can ask AI if you take a piece of text and you put it into AI and you go, "Hey, did you write this?" And it'll say, "Yes, I wrote it." If you build a custom GPT and you put enough data in there and you create a piece of content and then you take it out and you take it to the regular GPT, it will not recognize it as AI generated content. It's interesting.
Wow.
So I found that neat the other day. So now we're gonna get really aggressive with like building like articles and building like videos and that sort of thing. It's really cool, right? It's also really creepy. Like we were working it on my own profile. And now this thing writes my video script for me and it sounds exactly like me. So my brand is Evil Marketing Genius. It swears like me. It tells terrible dad joke like me. It's almost
What are
scary.
you okay, well, let's talk about practical things. So what are you using to generate that? Like, are you for the script? Are you using HeyGen for the let's say for the video, and then the script you do? What tools are you using?
Just paid version ChatGPT, the cheap one, right? Just the paid ChatGPT using custom build. So we just upload a bunch of files. So uh, from a technical analysis point of view, so what I'll do is I'll find the client, I'll find all the stuff that they're working on, I'll find their best LinkedIn posts. So you just go into LinkedIn, sort by year, sort
Yeah,
by views, sort by this,
yeah,
and I just steal all the best ones, and I take all those, throw it into a Google Doc, turn into a PDF, and then feed the PDF to the ChatGPT, right? The GPT custom. And then what I do is I find all the other places in the industry that have something very interesting. There's a really cool tool called Talk Backup. And what Talk
Okay.
Backup does is that so TOK backup. And what it does is you can download entire channels from other people's TikTok, right? As long as you're not in the US and it's banned. But you download the entire channel, but you can sort by view, you can sort by engagement, you can sort by comments. So it's really interesting. So you pull the persona of the person, you pull the data set that you want to put together, you stick them in the same custom GPT and you ask it to build content around the topic, but with the persona of the person. And it becomes really fascinating, right? So this AI stuff you're talking about, I'm using it day to day, right? So this is kind of what I do all day, and it's fascinating. And then what happens is that you then take that model and you put it into the large language model for the voice over, and then the voice starts to sound like you, right? And
Wow.
if you're using I think 11 Labs for the voice capture, right? Like I don't know if you knew this, but before, back in the day, you know how you have a fingerprint and you have an iris scan?
Yeah.
You used to have a voice print. Voice print
Yep.
is dead. You can it's an exact copy. So if I say the password in the voice and you put the password in the voice as an AI and you put it for the unlock, it unlocks. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, there goes that level of security. So that's all gone. So yeah, fascinating space. So like I appreciate what you're bringing to the table. I appreciate your insight into what's happening from all the different Web3 crypto stuff that's going on. This is a really cool space. So it's fun. It's a fun journey.
It's yeah, I'm looking through two sides here. So one is that yeah, of course you have a lot of opportunity, but of course you'll get a lot of fraud on this. So there's gonna be a lot of businesses that will make things more secure, right? So since you have
Yes.
AI and you just said 11 Labs and you have a lot of these tools basically which help you have a Synthesia, for example, which helps you clone
Yes.
a video version of you. And there's going to be, I guess, a lot of fraud. So I think cybersecurity is already having a
It's
hard
going to be a
time
new thing.
keeping
Well,
up
yeah,
with
yeah.
this.
The scams right now out there are people are finding people's family, making a clone of the kid, having the kid call grandma and saying, "Grandma, I'm stuck. I need money," right? And so it's almost scary what you can do now with AI. So it's interesting for sure. Then that does the flip side, right? The marketers are taking, for example, like obviously because at the time of this recording, Trump is now back in office. They're using a lot of AI that makes Trump say funny things, right? And it looks like him, it feels like him, it sounds like him. It's not him, it's an AI, but it's just the level of experience today, right, is unheard of, right? And never in a million years would I have thought that I could make anyone anywhere say anything I want, right? And it has the AI machine language learning background to be able to watch all their videos, capture all their mannerisms, get all their vocal inflection, and then you, Stefan, the marketer, can write whatever you want and he says whatever you want. It's almost like magic. I mean, obviously, like you said, there's a lot of fraud, but there also can be a lot of good made out of these things, right? So for like training manuals and that sort of thing, you can use the AI to make the trainer and then have them say all the stuff, and then all of a sudden the training is all done and it looks real. It's not boring. That's the main thing, right? Because most training is freaking terrible. So if you can make it interesting with vocal inflection, like most of the training I watch is some really boring guy looking at a spreadsheet talking in a monotone voice and never changing his voice modulation, and the entire time it's boring. It's just I'm crying, right? Like this is you're killing me here, right? So it's interesting, cool. Well, when you're not being a CMO for a bunch of different companies in a bunch of different spaces in the crypto space, what do you do for fun? What do you do for hobbies when you're not sitting in front of a computer?
It's a good question. Nowadays, I'm busy educating people. I have my girlfriend's two teenagers, so I'm doing that. I love traveling.
Hmm.
I just came in November. I spent 1.5 months in Argentina, and out of that, 3 weeks in Patagonia.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a dream come true. I wanted to see Patagonia for the past maybe 10 years. Since I used to go hiking, like long hikings,
Hmm.
and it was a dream come true actually. So I love traveling, hiking, maybe something extreme. I love reading, YouTube. I go to the gym quite
Nice.
quite a boring. Like I have a lot of interest, but I think I'm a quite a boring person to be honest. So
No, I mean, like getting outside and stretching your legs and going for a hike is a thing that more people should be doing, right? Like a lot of see, they're saying that sitting at your desk and doing this all day long is the new smoking, right? So the fact that you get out and do hikes, the fact that you get out and do interesting stuff, hey man, that's a good thing. Go get some sunshine.
that keeps that keeps the juices moving, right? In particular with AI nowadays, it's like before I was trying to keep up with the Jonas's, but right nowadays I'm like there is way too much. There is way too much, and I can't just keep up. So I think my best solution is actually limit this thing called
Mm.
phone, limit my
Yes.
computer. Say okay, so I work until let's say 7 p.m. and I cannot get in more than that.
Well,
So
you're right. I mean, the speed at which things are progressing. There's like a website that tracks all the new AIs, and I used to watch it. Dude, it puts out a new 1,000 tools every week. And like after week one, okay, this is exciting. Week two, okay, that's a lot. Week three is like, oh my god, it's still going. By the time week four rolls around, it's like my brain is full every day. I can't even think anymore. So yeah, I agree with you. There's too many things that are going on. But what you need to do is just take a look at a couple of them and then just apply them, right? Just pick a handful of them, use it, do it, da da da. I was asked to speak at an AI event, and I
no.
hadn't really truly used AI yet. So what I did was I took AI and I used it to sell ticket to the event. And so what I did was I actually I actually took apart the system. I made $30,000 in the week using AI to sell AI, which was crazy, right? And now with the whole vocal stuff, I have stuff that's in the pipe that's going to make me, $1 million a month using AI to sell AI by building with AI, which is crazy, right? So the possibilities are definitely endless, and there's a definite there's a lot of opportunity, like a lot of opportunity, which is exciting. So very cool. So all right, cool. So when you're not CMOing and you're not hiking, we want people to want to connect with you and really kind of build that conversation and start this conversation. This is a fascinating conversation. I'm enjoying it very much. If people want to connect with you, they want to find you, they want to talk to you, where? What's your platform of choice?
Um, you know what? There is another hobby of mine. So let me give you a little story. Like a few years back, I started working with this. I haven't never worked with a traditional, very like let's say a conservative market. And I started working with pharma 2 years ago, and then
Mm,
in pharma, we have a lot of in-person events because they don't trust technology. They're old style guys and so on. So another hobby that I've built is actually going to conferences, and I enjoy conferences a lot because
mm,
that's where you can connect. And actually, you mentioned the website, which where you can see all the AI improvements, all the new AI tools.
yes.
And I thought, well, I'm thinking the best AI tools that I always find out are coming from my network, from people I trust,
People,
from
yeah.
yes. So, and every time I go to a conference and I have maybe five, six people that I've already met, I know, okay, I'm gonna go to that guy and we're gonna catch up, and then he's gonna tell me what he's working on, and I'm gonna find out which of those tools is absolute BS, which of those tools are actually working.
Mm,
And if you ask me, so answering your question, I would say you can find me on LinkedIn, of course. Like just message me on LinkedIn.
okay.
You can find me via email, Stefan@LuckBoosters.com. Or I can give you my phone number. WhatsApp me on Telegram as well. Anywhere, but
Fantastic.
I'm open to conversation and helping others um, with any sort of advice because I think there is nobody who knows it all. And in terms of AI, we're all basically starting from zero now and learning how to use it. So I think we can help each other a lot.
Oh, beautiful. That's fantastic. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I just found you on LinkedIn. I just made a request. You're doing fantastic. You got 17,000 followers already. So yeah, if LinkedIn is your main platform, that's really good. Yeah, so if you're looking to meet with a guy who does a lot of different, CMO duties, fascinating guy in the marketing space, AI space, crypto space, I recommend you all to check out Stefan. Find him on LinkedIn. It's really easy. I typed his name in, first hit. So really cool. Yeah, I'm interested to see what you're working on, and keep in touch, my friend. This ought to be really fun.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. It was a pleasure, sir.
So likewise. All right. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.